Kansas losing millions of dollars. That's from an audit completed by the Kansas Medicaid Inspector General, putting the total at $94 million.
Those findings, though, being sharply criticized by the Kansas Department of Insurance. Sean Logging has those details.
Mike Rachel, the Kansas Department of Insurance, calling the key findings of this audit astronomically unreflective of reality. Part of the audit's focus was long-term care facility assessment fees collected by the state for Medicaid reimbursement and KDOI's certification process. Medicaid Inspector General Stephen Anderson's audit finding the Kansas Department of Insurance incorrectly certified some nursing homes at a lower rate. The audit says 68% of continuing care provider certifications between July 2020 and August 2023 were not in compliance with state law because they were missing things like an annual audit in their application. The MIG says it caused the state to miss out on $88.5 million in estimated revenue. The audit says the noncompliance puts pressure on the state's budget.
I think it underscores the critical need for significant improvement in the area of oversight for that service industry, long-term care.
The state taxes most long-term care facilities at about $4,900 a bed for Medicaid, but facilities can pay a reduced rate, $818 a bed, if certified as a continuing care provider, which has a different level of care, independent or assisted living, to skilled nursing. Dan Goodman with the nonprofit Kansas Advocates for Better Care says his initial look at the audit shows the state needs better management of this industry.
Proactive rather than reactive. This audit was obviously a reactive approach, but looks like it was more than needed.
The Kansas Department of Insurance critical of this assessment, disagreeing with the methodology, assumptions, and conclusions of the MIG's audit. The department's response saying if the conclusions and recommendations from the MIG were followed, it would have a devastating impact on care for seniors, and, quote, MIG's approach goes beyond reasonable regulation, ignores the reality of the industry, and disregards due process. I says it believes this audit was started after responding to legislative questions last June when the department explained flaws in state laws governing continuing care providers. The nearly 10-page response from KDOI says it also allows facilities flexibility in submitting information like a financial audit because of varying renew dates, differences in when a fiscal year might end, and a facility being owned by larger management firms.
Sean, a lot to this. So the report also comes out as there are bills being talked about related to this. What can you tell us about those?
Mike, one of those bills would take some of the certification power KDOI has for long-term care facilities and transfer that to the Kansas Department of Aging and Disability Services.